Why does your child lose it over what they're wearing? Well, let's say you're finishing your cup of tea, you've packed all the bags, the snacks are sorted, you've already checked the weather and worked out how quickly you need to leave if everyone's going to get where they need to be on time. And then downstairs comes your child in shorts in January or in a pristine white jumper for a woodland trip, or a Superman costume for a wedding, or enough jangly bracelets under their school blazer to alert the entire year four corridor. And if you're honest, maybe part of you smiles because you can see exactly why they love it. You can see the version of themselves they're trying to be. You can also see the mud on the white jumper, the puzzled looks from relatives at the wedding, or the jewellery being confiscated at school and the upset that will likely come from that. So you say something completely reasonable. No, you can't wear that, sweetheart. Go and get changed. And that's when the shouting, the crying, the stomping upstairs, and the slammed door comes. And the atmosphere in the house can change in seconds. And you might, somewhere in amongst all of that, think, why are we fighting about this again? Because if you're a parent, you've probably had this argument dozens of times, maybe hundreds, and it's exhausting, especially because it seems so unnecessary. It's just clothes. Except I don't think it's really about the clothes, and that's what I want to look at today. One of the strange things about being a child is how little of your life belongs to you. People decide when you get up, where you're going, what you're eating, when you're leaving, how long you'll stay, what's happening next. Most of that is perfectly appropriate. Children need adults to make a huge number of decisions on their behalf. But from the child's perspective, a lot of life involves other people deciding things for you. And then there are clothes, what clothes mean. Now, clothes sit on your body, they keep you warm, but they're also part of how people see you, part of how you see yourself. And somewhere along the way, they start to feel personal. The dinosaur t-shirt, the football shirt, the sparkly leggings, the favorite hoodie, the friendship bracelets, the thing they wear because it makes them feel like themselves. And when something feels personal, children often start wanting some say over it. It's not about trying to be difficult, they're just trying to become themselves. The problem, of course, is that children don't experience the world with our adult perspective. They don't look at the white jumper and think, ah, yes, mud stains are extremely difficult to remove. And they don't look at the wedding outfit and think, or the Spider-Man wedding outfit and think, this might not fit with the social expectations of the event. And they don't look at the school jewellery policy and think, I can see the practical reasoning behind this rule. They just see the thing they love, the thing that feels like them, the thing they really want to wear. And suddenly someone is telling them they can't wear it. Not later, not after a discussion, but right now. And that's where things often start to unravel because the feeling arrives a long time before the language does, and they simply don't have the words to say, I really wanted to choose, or, oh, I wish you'd asked me, or this feels important to me, or even, I know you're right, but I still don't like it. Those are surprisingly sophisticated skills. Instead, what often comes out is shouting, refusal, tears, anger. All of these we tend to label as defiance. And I think it's probably quite easy to miss the screaming isn't usually a rejection of the relationship, but it can feel like that. It's not actually your child suddenly deciding they don't respect you. Their feelings are too big to think like that. It's not that they don't love you or want to make your life harder. Very often it's a child trying to find some room for themselves inside a relationship that necessarily involves adults making lots of decisions for them. They're looking for somewhere where their voice matters, some part of their life they get some say over. And of course, they're doing it very imperfectly because they're still learning. But it's important to them. Now, I do want to say before we go any further, it doesn't make you wrong, because while your child is trying to have some say, you're trying to get everyone out of the house. You're managing weather, time, laundry, school expectations, family expectations, and just the practical realities of life. You're not standing there thinking, how can I crush my child's self-expression today? Of course you're not. You're trying to stop them getting soaked, freezing cold, embarrassed, or upset later on. You're looking ahead. They're looking at right now. And both of those perspectives make sense. But that's why these moments can feel so hard, because both of you have legitimate needs that are clashing in that instance. And once you can see that, something changes. And that's not necessarily the decision. You may still need the white jumper changed or the bracelets removed. You probably still need the Superman costume left at home, but you're looking at something different. You're not looking at a child who's just being difficult. You're looking at a child who wants some say over their own life, a child who is experimenting with their own identity, a child who's trying to express something about themselves and who doesn't yet have a better way of doing it. So this week, I'd like you just to notice the next time your child pushes back over something that seems completely unreasonable, pause for a moment and ask yourself, where is my child trying to express themselves here? And do they have enough room to do it? It's not making every choice belong to them. They don't always make the most sensible decisions, and not every argument can be avoided. But when we know that something that looks like defiance is actually a child looking for some way to be themselves, to express themselves, to have a say in the world, that gives us a very different way of looking at the situation, at our child, and our part within that.